Morning and welcome to the latest installment of the Lighting Systems 2810 series. My name is Brian Franco from the technical support team, and with me today is regional sales manager Jason Ventetuolo from Lantana LED Lighting, and he's coming to us live from the AppCom Data Center World Conference in Austin, Texas. Jason will be presenting Lantana's unique and cost-effective line of data center lighting solutions. Please enter any questions you have in the chat, and we'll address them at the end of the presentation. And if you'd like to schedule a follow-up with Jason, please reach out to your Lighting Systems representative or click the link on the 2810 page on the Lighting Systems website. All right, Jason, take it away.
Brian, thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you all for spending the time here today. I'm not sure if this is true or not. I like to think this is the most well-attended webinar so far, and my self-esteem is soaring, so thank you very much. I'm going to start off with giving you a little bit of background about who we are. So I, again, am Jason Ventetuolo. I am your Western Channel Sales Manager, also called your Regional Sales Manager. And Lantana LED is not your typical lighting company. We actually started off as a construction company up in the Bay Area called Project Frog. And Project Frog is a industrialized construction. So it was focused on componentized or modular construction. And the idea was to try and improve efficiency, reduce costs, increase sustainability, just in general, make the building process cleaner, simpler, and better. As we were going along and building our buildings, our projects, our architects, they were having a hard time finding a lighting solution that worked really well for them, something that checked all the boxes. And so they decided to create their own fixture. And that's what they did. So like if you look up at our name at the top there in the black, it has Lantana, and there's that little blue logo bug. That's actually the profile of our signature fixture. And what's really cool about that is not only is it, designed by an architect and engineered for efficiency with that really distinctive profile, we use one LED array. So we get the direct and indirect light off of one channel, which is a really cool, aspect of our lights. And then we had one of our engineers left Project Frog and went to work for a big tech company. And he ended up speccing our fixture, technically his fixture, I guess, on the data centers, and things just took off for us. So now we have installed over 77,000 of our fixtures, over 6,500 of our remote driver units, and we illuminate over 30 million square feet across the country. The vast majority of that is in data centers. And here's why that is important. Everything that we've done has been a solution to a problem that we encountered in the field. First, with our own construction projects, and then as we moved into the data center world, we have continued to refine our product and our offering. So what we have now is really something that is just tailor-made to thrive in data centers. But not just data centers, right? We've got two fixtures now. We have the architectural fixture and we have the edge linear fixture. Now, only two fixtures in 10 years of selling lights. But remember what I said is we've been working on not putting out a ton of fixtures, but working on creating the best possible fixtures that we can. So we've been constantly refining our offering. And these fixtures work great, not just for the data centers, but also for retail, for senior living. The architectural fixture was actually first designed for our school projects. I am a former elementary school teacher, so anytime I can do a school project, it makes me so happy. So I would love to work with you on a school project. And then the edge linear, although it was designed specifically for data centers, can actually be really versatile. Works well with retail in MRI suites. It's all non-ferrous. So there are other applications besides just the data centers. Then we have three different power options for our fixtures. So we can do power over Ethernet, which is kind of nice. If that is available in the building, each fixture can be addressed individually, which is pretty cool. We can do integrated or integral drivers, just using traditional line voltage, or we can do our distributed low voltage power, which is what we're going to talk about today. There's also a fourth option. It doesn't come up very often, but I should probably mention it. If the building already has 48 volt power, you can just install the fixtures directly to that. We've only done that a few times, but it is an option that we can do. All right, so here we go. This is what you've all been waiting for, right? Remote lighting and distributed low voltage power. I wish I had like a drum roll or something for you. Our system really has two components to it. The first component is the remote fixtures themselves. So we have, again, the edge and we have the architectural. These fixtures, I told you, we've been refining this for data centers. They have a UL certification for an elevated ambient operating temperature of up to 70 degrees Celsius. In the data centers, in the hot aisles, it gets very, very hot. What happens is you end up with a heat cloud up at the top of the building where the fixtures reside. If you don't have a fixture that can thrive in those harsh environments, that fixture is not going to do well. Our fixtures are designed to thrive in that. As a matter of fact, if you look at the L90, it's above 71,000 hours, and that's in that harsh environment. We've got the three different power options: the 48 volt with the system. If it's already in the building, we can do power over Ethernet, and then the remote driver system. And when you look at the fixtures themselves, they're very efficacious. So the Edge linear remote is going to deliver 151.6 lumens per watt. So an 8-foot fixture, you're looking at just over 12,000 lumens delivered. And then the architectural is 148.6. At an 8-foot fixture, it's just under 12,000. So 11,888 lumens delivered. And that's at 80 CRI. If we take it to 90 CRI, efficacy goes down just a little bit. We also have the option of doing a static circadian, which brings the CRI up to about 97 or 98. The delivered lumens goes down to about 106. But what's interesting about that is we use that a lot in government projects that we've done, government buildings, and they found that you can power the fixtures down to about 40% of what you would normally have it at because the clarity of the light. Kind of an interesting thing about the static circadian. Anyway, the fixtures come with a 5-year warranty on the Edge linear remote and then a 10-year warranty on the architectural fixture. And the second component of the low voltage delivered power system is the RDU itself. So with the RDU, what we're really doing is we're centralizing the brains of the fixture in an easily accessible place. This is going to allow us to do multi-zone capabilities, have multi-zone functionality. We have UL 2108 and UL 924 listing on the RDUs. That means that you can have emergency power in there with your line voltage, which again is a big differentiator for us. And all told, this just makes the system much safer and much easier to access and to maintain. Okay, so looking at the RDUs in a little bit more detail. So we have an RDU 20, for those of you, the XX, the little Roman numerals there. Why we just did that one, I don't know, but we did, whatever. So we have the RDU 20, the RDU 12, and the RDU 6. So those numbers, 6, 12, and 20, those tell you how many drivers can be housed within that RDU. So the 6 can have 6, the 12, 12, and the 20, 20. And that also corresponds to the number of fixtures that can be powered up by each RDU. So a 6 can power up 6, a 12, 12, and the 20 can do 20. You can't really tell from here. Hopefully I'll get a chance to show you in person, but these RDUs are very substantial. So it's 16 gauge cold rolled steel, very well crafted, very, very solid, which is important for a lot of the industrial applications that we're using them in. You'll also see we have that C and C2. Those are our sidecars, and those can house the controls that can go along with the RDUs. Now, our fixtures are controls agnostic, system agnostic. You can put them with whatever you want. Oftentimes, we'll put like a Legrand or a Watt Stop or an LMRC in there, and so we can get 2 zones per sidecar. Each RDU can have 3 sidecars. So you can get up to 6 different zones out of one RDU system there. I'm going to move on here now. And the reason why we went to the RDU system, we're not the first people to have low voltage power, but I think that we are doing it better than anybody. And the reason why we went that way is really for safety, resiliency, efficiency, and versatility. By removing the component in a light fixture that is most prone to failure, which is that driver, and putting it in an easily accessible space, we've made it much easier to work on these fixtures if you need to access them, to access that part that has the most potential to fail. And especially in data centers, there are really 3 key components that we found that are very important when you're engineering for this. Heat is probably the most important. Energy consumption. Second, And then versatility is the third one. So with the heat, by taking the driver out of the fixture, we are taking the biggest contributor to the heat signature of the fixture and removing it from the room. So we're not adding anything to the heat. These data centers spend a lot of money to try and chill the rooms to keep them at a temperature that's going to function, allow the servers to function at optimal levels. So by removing that, we're helping to not add any extra heat to the system. Also, I mentioned that the fixture itself can handle the high heat. So when you put those together, it really is the perfect system. Also, if you think about a data center and you've got these server racks going down here and you've got your ladder going in there. If you had a traditional system where you had an integral driver, you get some poor person up on this ladder where it's 130 degrees up there. They're trying to work on a fixture. So not only is it dangerous to the maintenance worker, to the poor person who's got to, try and work on a fixture, it's also dangerous to the equipment. You don't want stuff in there banging around. So again, by taking the drivers and putting them in an easily accessible area, it makes it just much easier and makes more sense in a data center. But also, if you think about an office or a classroom, or if this was in like a laboratory, if something goes wrong with a fixture, you don't have to interrupt the workday, the school day, or the experiment. You can easily access the panel and do what you need to do. Another really cool thing about our panel, I should have mentioned this before, is right now we're putting a UL power switch on there. We're in the final stages of getting this listed here. And so you can cut the power off actually at the RDU system. So instead of having to go to the breaker, you can just cut it at the box, do whatever you need to do, and then turn it back on. Okay, the second thing that we know that is really important when we're talking about data centers is the power consumption. These are huge power sucks, and people don't like that they're huge power sucks. And data centers are very aware of this. They do everything they can to try and minimize the amount of energy that they're using. We save about 15 watts per 8-foot fixture. That's how much energy you would need to get the uplight that we are producing. The uplight is actually really important. You might not think that it would be, but when you're in a data center, and a lot of times our fixtures, they're very light. They're hung from just the cable trays. You can see the cables above you. And it's important to be able to see what cable is what because they're different colors and they have different functions. So that's a really important thing. So we've managed the heat. We've also managed the energy consumption, which is, again, is really important to them. And then the versatility. By going low voltage, which we've done, you don't need an electrician to come in to move these things around. So it's very easy when they do a refresh, which is what they call it in data center lingo, when you might get a new server put in there or you get a new tenant in there. It's easy to move the fixtures around. They're just being supported from J-hooks off the cable trays most often. Okay, so another really cool thing that we've found with our installs in data centers is there is a huge material savings. So in most jurisdictions, because it's line voltage going into the RDU, but it's low voltage class 2 wire coming out of it, you don't need conduit going from the RDU to the fixtures. That means you don't have to buy conduit, you don't have to pull conduit, you don't have to bend conduit. That is a very, very big savings. Also, we're not taking 5 wire over to the fixtures. We're just doing the 18-2 wire, which is much cheaper. So there's about a $2.10 a linear foot savings by going with this system. Additionally, we don't have to have J boxes over every fixture, which is a huge savings as well, which saves about $2 to $5.50 per fixture. And then lastly, because it's low voltage, it's much easier, cheaper, and safer to install. And what we found in a lot of these larger installations with our hyperscalers is that we're saving anywhere from $2 to $5 per square foot on the installation. And generally that means that the lighting package turns out to be about free, which is pretty fantastic. And then this is, I'm not going to make you listen to it, but this is a QR code if you wanted to log on to it. And it's a testimonial from one of our manufacturer reps out in Atlanta. And he was an electrician and was kind of hesitant to use the RDU system. Now he's used it a few times and has nothing but positive things to say about it. So kind of a nice testimonial there. And that's, again, thank you so much for spending your time with me today and with us today. And I'm happy to answer any and all questions that you might have.
Great presentation. Thank you, Jason. I really like the high efficacy Lantana offers, especially coming from an aesthetically pleasing fixture, a little bit nicer than a standard old LED strip.
Right.
We do have a few questions. Let's see. What is the max distance from the remote driver to the fixture?
Great question. So we're looking at about 300 feet. It kind of depends. You can go further. It just depends on the gauge of the wire, if you're using stranded or solid, and if you're using copper or aluminum wire. But typically, I would say a safe answer is 300 feet.
300 feet. Okay. Let's see. Besides data centers, what other applications are the Lantana fixtures used for?
We've done a lot. Again, it started off with a lot of schools. Actually, we've got a couple of great installs up in the Bay Area. The Emerald Lagasse Culinary School is a really cool one. Offices as well. Right now, we're working on putting them in. It's a national thing, but going into like higher centers. So pretty much anything that you can think of. It just by removing that drivers, it makes it easier for just about every application you could think of.
Awesome. What is the max temperature for the integral driver fixture?
Good question. So that is 55 degrees Celsius. And I don't know if I mentioned this. Our closest competitor in the data center world here is maxed out at about 45 degrees Celsius. So we're 10 degrees better with our integral and a whole lot better with our remote at 70.
55 degrees for integral and 70 for the remote. Awesome. Let's see. What is the lead time for your fixtures typically?
Question. About 3 to 4 weeks. If it's a smaller order, like under 50 units, we can probably get that in a couple of weeks. But usually 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
Have you tied in any enlighted controls to your system?
That is a great question. I don't have a great answer for you. I can find out and get that answer back to whoever asked that question. But I don't want to make up an answer for you. So let me get back on that.
And I actually have one. Do you guys have any indirect lighting in any of these fixtures? Or have you been thought to do that at all?
So we're working on some more fixtures now. So that'll be something that we will be looking into. As of right now, it's direct, indirect. You know what, Brian, I forgot to mention this too, and I'm so sorry. These fixtures also are Title 24 compliant, and they're DLC listed. I should have, and TAA compliant too.
Great. Let's see. Any more questions? We still have a couple minutes here. I think that might be it, Jason. Yep. Great presentation, Jason. If there's anything else, we do have a few minutes. If there's anything else you want to throw in there, but looks like we answered all the questions.
All right. Well, I can start working on my monologues now. If you guys want to hear some Shakespeare,
we'll take
requests, karaoke.
I think that'll do it. Thanks for everybody for joining. Thank you all for attending the presentation today. Don't miss next month when we will be presenting an update from Cerno and their new line of decorative hand-blown glass fixtures from Siemens and Salazar. They're really nice and they're brand new to us. Remember, if you would like to learn more about Lantana's data center solutions or any other products, please reach out to your lighting systems rep. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks again, Jason, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day.
Take care.